Hey, we're Paige and Alex, co-op students at Goose Digital. Week 13.
With both tools being built and being tested and in the hands of real users, the placement is over.
And the most honest thing we can do now is look back at what we built, what we didn't get into, and what we would have kept going on if the clock didn't run out.
Let's get into it. Phase 1 proved that the pipeline would work. A structured brief would go in, and a complete website would come out, with the real brand identities, real SEO foundations, and real quality standards built in by default. That works. The question that didn't get answered, though, was what could have it become with more time? The most obvious remaining gap was image generation. Claude's image output isn't very strong for hero sections and for visually heavy pages. Gemini handles that significantly better, and integrating it directly into the pipeline was the clear next move. It just didn't make it into the timeline. Versatility was the other thing. The pipeline generates full sites. What it couldn't do yet was generate a single page or a single section without rebuilding everything around it. A client who needs a new landing page shouldn't have to run a full site build to get it. The generation experience itself was also a little bit worth rethinking. The output lives in a code editor. It's functional, but not what a non-technical client wants to look at. Moving generation onto a web page directly, so what you see is what you get, was always the right direction. It's expensive to build, which is why it stayed on the list rather than making it into the build. Hero Video is currently handled through a third-party step. Building that in natively would have removed a manual handoff that shouldn't need to exist. And the two features that would have closed the biggest gap, drag and rearrange editing built in the page, and the automatic form connections and back-end setup, those were the ones that would have made the biggest difference for any client trying to fully own their site without developer involvement.
Phase 1 moved fast. That was the right call for the timeline. But moving fast leaves marks. Some pieces of the codebase ended up doing more than they should. Logic got duplicated in places that then drifted apart. Shortcuts that were load-bearing in week 3 were still load-bearing in week 12. None of it stopped the tool from working, but it's the kind of thing that makes the next person's job harder than it needs to be. A proper refactor was on the list. It didn't make it in. The model's usage logging that went in during week 11 would have informed a lot of what came next, looking at where costs were accumulating, where the system was defaulting to expensive models versus cheaper ones when they would do the same job, and using that as a signal for where the pipeline assumptions didn't match people who were already using it. So had we implemented that way earlier, it would have saved a lot of time. Beyond that, more editable shapes and vectors, deeper AI understanding of brand assets, and a handful of features the team asked for during testing that were generally interesting but too complex to fit in alongside everything else. The tool got to a good place. With more timing, it would have gotten to a better one.
Both tools are leaving behind something that's more than just a code base.
They're leaving behind a way of thinking about how AI fits into agency work, not as a replacement for creative direction, as an infrastructure that does the execution so direction can be the focus.
The brand intelligence framework that both tools share is probably the most transferable thing from this co-op. Brand context that lives in a system, loads automatically, and constrains the output before a user has typed a single word.
The idea scales. It applies to tools that don't exist yet. It's worth building on.
Whoever picks this up next starts from a much stronger position than we did.
The pipelines are real. The users are real. The feedback is real.
That's not nothing.
That's most of the hard work.
Thanks for
Thanks for watching. See you next week.